What really happened at Kariba? The story behind Zimbabwe's ferry tragedy. It was supposed to be an ordinary journey across Lake Kariba. Families boarded a ferry carrying passengers, goods, and fishing supplies. But somewhere on the journey, everything changed. Within moments, a routine trip became one of Zimbabwe's maritime tragedies in recent history. More than 80 people are now confirmed dead. But what really happened on Lake Kariba that day? How did a ferry authorized for 90 passengers end up carrying far more? And why did the search for survivors turn into a massive recovery operation? This is the story behind the Kariba Ferry tragedy. The journey on Tuesday, 11 August 2026, the ferry Mbuyanianda left the Kariba area heading towards remote communities and fishing areas on the lake. For people living around Lake Kariba, water transform is not simply a tourist activity. For some communities, it is an important connection to places where roads are difficult and public transport is limited. That makes ferry services particularly important. Report says the vessel was traveling from Kariba toward rural and fishing communities where transport alternatives can be limited. But one of biggest questions surrounding the tragedy concerns the number of people on board. The ferry was authorized to carry 90 passengers, yet reports indicate that significantly more people may have been aboard when the vessel left. Early official figures identified 114 adults and 5 crew members, while later estimates suggested the total number of people aboard could have been as high as 153. That difference is critical. Because when a vessel carries more people than its authorized capacity, its stability and ability to cope with difficult conditions can become a serious safety concern. The exact passenger total have varied in reports, and authorities have continued working to establish the full circumstance. Then came the weather. Lake Kariba may look calm from the shore, but it is an enormous body of water capable of producing dangerous waves in rapidly changing conditions. According to reports from survivors and authorities, the ferry encountered strong choppy water. Some survivors reportedly said the vessel began taking. Reports have described strong waves and accounts from survivors that the vessel began taking on water shortly after departure. The capsizing, then the situation became catastrophic. The ferry capsized. People suddenly found themselves in the water. In a disaster like this, every second matters. Some passengers may have been able to escape the vessel, others were trapped, and for families waiting on shore, there was no immediate way to know who had survived. A major search and rescue operation began. Police, divers, military personnel, local fishermen, and other responders became involved in the search. Survivors were rescued and taken to safety. But as the operation continued, the scale of the tragedy became clearer. Authorities reported that 77 people were rescued, while recovery teams continued searching for missing victims. At first, the reported number of deaths was much lower, then more bodies were recovered and more and more. By Sunday, 16 August, the number had risen dramatically. On 16 August, Zimbabwe police reported that the death toll had reached 84 after 4 additional bodies were recovered, with searches still continuing. Among those who died were children. According to reports, 18 children were among the victims, including children aged 10 or younger. The youngest reported victim was just 1 year old. Local, regional, and international updates brought to you by Avisha TV. Stay connected for more updates.